Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, I'll be going over some off-season workout clips from the Washington Commanders, Jayden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Gabe Taylor, and the Washington Commanders first round pick, Josh Conerly. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. So lost my voice a little bit, some allergies and stuff going around, but let's get right into the video. So if the voice sounds different, that's why. All right, so we're going to go over some clips and some just, different stuff that's happened recently with, scheduling stuff, some players that they've signed and others. So, they're in the, middle of their, ramp up period for workouts soon because, they have, or not ramp ups for workouts, but ramp ups for the OTAs and mini camp that they are going to have soon. So they had the rookie mini camp, but the veterans have been there for a little bit and just, doing a bunch of different stuff. So here's a clip. I don't know. Can I? Yeah, there we go. I was seeing if I could full screen it, but here we go. Jayden Daniels to Terry McLaurin. And yeah, there you go. So it looks like mid drop back, Jayden was directing Terry where to go a little bit. Love to see it. He's got his beanie on, even though he's inside. I think that's his beanie. That's a beanie. And throws it to Terry. Terry's happy. Something was making him laugh. And yeah, really cool stuff there. And then let's see other stuff. So Gabe Taylor. I made a couple different videos about him, but here's some clips from him from mini camp, rookie mini camp. Still no update on him if he's gonna make it or not. We will see. Just have to wait and see if they end up putting him on the 90-man roster. They got space, I believe, because they did release Trey Rucker, who is a safety, and then also some other offensive lineman, and then they ended up signing an offensive lineman who I'll talk about in a second. But that other roster spot, I believe, is still vacant for the Commanders. So if they want to go ahead and sign Gabe Taylor, they can. And even if they didn't have roster space available, they could have, or that they can still sign him by cutting someone else. So if they really want him on the team, then they can make it work. They can make it work for sure. So we'll see if anything happens. I mean, it's been a little over a week since rookie mini camp, or it's been exactly a week actually since it started. I believe it ended on Saturday. So I would give it some time. We'll see what happens. It would it'd be great if they're able to keep him around. Just again, great story, but also I think he's a good player. Really good speed, really good athleticism, and really good production in college. And the size isn't necessarily there for safety, but I don't think that's a big deal when you're talking about a 90-man roster right now, where obviously he's not going to make the team, but he could make the practice squad if he really works out. And I think that he has some elite traits. So not a lot of guys on those practice squads or 90-man roster, like bottom of the roster, have those elite traits, and he does have some of those traits. And obviously as well, it's a really good story. So it'd be cool to keep him around for sure, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. And watch, he's gonna get signed right when I'm making this video. And shout out to All Pro Reels for this clip, for the last clip. Here's Josh Conerly, Commanders first round pick, and he's doing some drills there, looking good, looking quick. His feet look quick, and he just looks quick in general. So good to see that there, running out there, picking up the yoga ball, throwing it back, and looks good. It's I'm overanalyzing, but it's just small things right here until this is all we have until the pads come on in July, which is when, I mean, maybe even August probably is when the actual pads come on, and end of July is when training camp starts. But they still have like a week, maybe less than a week for ramp up period and stuff like that, where they're not having the pads on. So you can see on the right here a little bit of what Adam Peters said, total package. just turning 21 in November, still a baby in terms of age-wise, but he's very, very mature for his age. So yeah, he's still 20 years old. So for a rookie, that's, young for even, rookie standards. So he's got a lot of potential, a lot of growing to do. And I'm excited to see what Conerly can do. And, maybe, some people want an edge rusher, myself included, but whenever you can protect your franchise player, your quarterback, you go ahead and do that. And, getting as, many of these guys on the offensive line as possible is a really good idea. So you got Conerly, who's young, as your first round pick, and then you got Coleman, who's also young. So you're making the offensive line a little bit younger. And Cosme's not old. Tyler Biadasz is not old. Larry Tunsil is the only one that's a little bit older, but he's still got, definitely a few years of good football left for him. So the offensive line is, going to continue to get younger, and you love that. You absolutely love that, and they're going to continue to make draft picks until, they have a great offensive line. And, even if they have a great offensive line, you can't have enough good offensive linemen. The, worst case is you have really good depth. And if you have some really good starters as, depth piece in terms of, all right, this guy could start on other teams, hey, you can make a trade and it'll work out. So, that's why a lot of people say best player available, because if you see a guy that's really good, go ahead and draft him. And worst case, if he works out, you can trade him or whatever. Obviously, there's that chance that he doesn't work out, and then that's a little bit of a different story. But if he works out after that, the worst case scenario would be you can't even start him because your offensive line is so good, and in that scenario you just trade him. And the Eagles are doing that a little bit in terms of just stacking on the defensive line and offensive line. And they have guys that leave for free agency, and they get draft picks out of it for compensatory picks. So the Eagles are doing it right. And you're playing, that's your division rival, that's your biggest rival, biggest roadblock in the NFC. So you want to be able to play to their strengths and weaknesses, and you want to be able to protect your quarterback against that really good defensive line with Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, other guys as well. You're going to have to protect your franchise quarterback. So doing that is great. And the other stuff, other thing is Tyree Phillips. Commanders signed him. The Ravens drafted him. I don't know when. I think 2020 is my guess. I know he played for the Giants for a little bit, and now he's on the Commanders. So a little bit of a depth piece, nothing crazy, but definitely at the minimum a camp body. But I think he has more of a chance than some of these other offensive linemen that they signed, like the Farrell guy, the 6'7", 6'8" guy from the Chargers that played last year, I believe. So I think Tyree Phillips has a chance. We'll, again, with all these things, wait and see. I'm interested to see any surprise guys this year in training camp and stuff. Anyone that makes the roster that we don't think, that's not necessarily on our radar. Maybe an undrafted free agent, maybe one of these veterans, and maybe a guy, that surprise cut will be something to watch out for as well. But that is it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video. Peace.